looking at our third question, another quarterback question, and it's, is there a fix to the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence? Like, what's going on? Is there an immediate fix for them? What's going on?
I don't have thoughts on this. It's kind of last week we talked about the Bengals and issues with them. Shout out to that fan that was like super reasonable in their responses. That never happens. Y'all are crazy out there. You guys just think that your teams are,
Super Bowl bound, bro. Absolutely.
I don't know what you do with the Jaguars. They got the Colts this week. It might be a chance for them to get a W. Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be okay, but Jacksonville they're 27th in passing yards.
Yep. 28th I have them on this one actually. But yeah.
I everybody that was drafting Travis Etienne early in fantasy, I was like, stop doing that. No, don't do it. That dude broke down last year. You know, it happens all the time. Look at Tony Pollard. Everyone's like, get Zeke out of there. Give Tony Pollard all the carries. That's not going to work. It's change pace for a reason. That's not going to work. Same thing with ETN. Like, they need to trade for Damon Pierce from the Texans or something and get some pound the rock in there, something like that. Yeah. And you have decent wide receivers. Like, I don't know. I don't know why it's working. Their defense is terrible. They're 30th in the league in points against per game. They're 30th in the league in yards. They're 31st in the league in passing yards against them. And they're 22nd in total yards for offense. It's just everything is terrible. It's like
26 in sacks per game. Like, they're not getting pressures, and
what I think happened.
They might have a pass rusher that they just paid a fuck ton of money to. So has 1 sack in 4 games, and
I think that. Well, and even going back to when they drafted, who's the pass
Trevor
rusher?
Walker.
Yeah, what has he got, a sack or 2 so far? Congratulations. I think what happened in the offseason, I think maybe Mac Jones possessed Trevor Lawrence. And that's what happens, because this is some trash can ass quarterbacking.
One sack in 4 games for Mr. Trayvon Walker as well. But at least you're not paying him top edge rusher money. So there's
if you.
He had 11 sacks last year, by the way. So, I just want to throw that out there. We didn't talk about Trayvon last year, but
you know how I know you're bad is when you're hanging out on a list and I go to the bottom of the list and you're down there with Bryce Young. Will Levis is down there. Oof. Poor Caleb Williams is down there. Not really his fault, but
yeah.
What are the Jags doing good right now? And these owners with all the money. Say something for a second. I'm gonna pull up his quote. It was terrible. Did you see it?
You're talking about Shad Khan? Oh, absolutely. I have it in my notes. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Read it.
Yeah. So, I don't have the exact, but I know that Shad Khan said that this was the best team in franchise history, and it's a short franchise history. But for this to be the best team in franchise history, this is your owner's expectations after paying your quarterback $275 million, but he's averaging less than 200 yards a game on that $275 million contract, and then you pay your franchise pass rusher, and then he has 1 sack in 4 games, and then again, you're 0-4, and you have no playoff expectations now at this point, but Shad Khan still doubles down on that best in franchise history, and then you rank bottom in the league in almost every single category outside of rushing offense, which ranks like 13th, so you're middle of the pack. Good job, I guess. And then your rushing defense is decent, top 10. Outside of that, passing, sacks, and total yards allowed, total yards per game on your offensive side is all bad. For me personally, with how bad this defense is, they gutted their entire defensive coaching staff, and the guy that's kind of left over now at that point is a Mr. Doug Peterson, and you might have to start looking at him to be, out the door at this point, because defense is looking bad. You got the entire coaching staff, and it's still this bad. You can't point the finger there for a second year in a row. After that, from the fired coaches from that defensive coaching staff, they said, quote, the problems are still in the building in Jacksonville. And they might know what they're talking about there, especially with, again, the head coach might be the problem at that point. So,
well, and Trent Baalke is a terrible GM. He was the guy who drafted the all ACL team for the 49ers. I don't know. It's Jacksonville, so they're always going to be a little irrelevant anyway. And they had a hell of a playoff game last year where Trevor Lawerence threw roughly, I think, 63 interceptions in the first half, and then they came back in the second half. But it's just, you know what else is really weird for them right now is that Doug Peterson is like going to the wall to defend his coaches and kind of putting a lot of this on the players, and that's just super abnormal.
I don't know what to do.
It's super abnormal for head coaches to behave this way.
In a press conference like that, red flag.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This has got they're going to go get the OC for the Lions type thing written all over it because you got to. So this is my thing. I was making an argument with there's a guy at work who's the most passionate Raiders fan you've ever seen. The one thing we can say about Raiders fans, they're just passionate. And I told him, I said, the thing I don't like about Antonio Pierce is when everything is going wrong for your quarterback, Antonio Pierce can do nothing about it. He doesn't know the X and O's. He doesn't do the scheme. He doesn't know anything. He's just going to go give him a pat on the ass and say, hey, let's try better out there. When shit's going bad for Dak, Mike McCarthy schemed that whole thing. Sean McVay, Andy Reid, LaFleur, the Kubiaks, Kyle Shanahan. These guys can go talk to their quarterbacks and put their mind back together. What exactly can this coaching staff do for Trevor Lawerence right now? I mean, and I feel bad. I feel bad for him because you got Urban Meyer, and then you got this, you got that, and it just sucks. It's like it's got a lot of eerie Alex Smith similarities right now down in Jacksonville. Matter of fact, now that I said that out loud, I really love that comparison. 6 different offense coordinators in your first 7 years. They got to go get a guy. They got to get the OC from the Lions.
Ben Johnson,
Ben Johnson. I know he wants millions of dollars a year to be a head coach. Pay the guy and go get a guy that can sit down and mold. There's a reason why we want these quarterbacks. There's a reason why I said I want Bryce Young on the Rams to get with the guy that can help them. And, it just, I don't know. I don't looking at their schedule, I don't see a win for them. Yeah, maybe this week against the Colts, but that's it.
We don't know how much, obviously you say you don't want to take credit, like the team doesn't want to take credit for it, but like we really don't know unless we're inside the building how much, and inside his head, how much being with a guy like Kyle Shanahan helped Sam Darnold, so, it very well could have been that deciding factor for him for what, let him open his eyes a little bit and then come into the situation where he had weapons around him and being able to actually perform well. So being with those type of offensive minded guys and giving them, these quarterbacks, the opportunity to perform at the highest level possible with some of the best coaches out there, it's probably the best situation you could give Trevor Lawerence at this point.
Well, look at Baker Mayfield with the Rams.
Yep, there you go.
He was
that game saved his career. The whole thing saved his career.
Let me see. He was I guess he was 22 at 35 for 230 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. But he'd been on the Rams for 48 hours.
Yep.
And, it's just, I don't know why teams continue to hire the way they do. I think it's a mistake. That's why we talk about Belichick because he's the greatest coach of all time. But who's he bringing in? He's bringing in McDaniels, you know what I mean, as his offensive coordinator. Go get Ben Johnson. Look at what they're like. Jared Goff was cast out of LA. Maybe it was St. Louis at the time. I don't remember, by Sean McVay. And they've turned that dude around, and he's, they got a high powered offense out there. Go get somebody that can help your quarterback, because right now, you and me were talking in the offseason, should they even pay this dude? And it feels like they just pay these quarterbacks no matter what now. But I don't know. The Jaguars just got to blow it up or something, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you.